What's up guys, my name is Matthew and today we are doing my August wrap up. Alright, I know you're supposed to do this by like the 1st of September and it is now September 11th. I haven't filmed this yet, but better late than never. I only read 5 books, completed 5 books in August, but 3 of those 5 books were 5 stars and 2 of those 5 books were 4 stars. So honestly, I would much rather have a month where I'm reading only good books at a lower amount than a month where I'm reading 12 books and they're all like 3 or 2 stars. So qualitatively, it was a pretty good month. Quantitatively, not so much, but I'll take this over the other option. So the first book I read this month, and probably my favorite, is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. This has all the dark academia vibes that you're looking for. It's a thriller. We're given 2 perspectives. One, we have perspectives from the past where a group of college students, one of their best friends gets murdered and one of the friends gets accused of murdering their college friend. And then we have a second perspective, which is in present day, about 10 years later, and all the friends are coming back to the university for a college reunion, and they learn that maybe the accused person wasn't actually the person who murdered their friend. Obviously, this is your standard thriller with, all the mysteries. All different college friends have secrets that are revealed through the book, which make it so interesting. On top of the thriller aspects, I really like the platonic and the romantic relationships intertwined throughout the mystery. And I've learned that my favorite thrillers are those that also have relationship issues mixed in if it's done right. Sometimes it's done poorly and the book flops. But this book did it perfectly. It was a 5-star. Did I guess the ending? No. Do I think the ending was groundbreaking? Oh my God, my jaw dropped? No. But it was still just so refreshing. It made me miss college, honestly. It was just like fun. It was a fun book. Thrilling. Every single character in this book had a secret and it got revealed throughout the book. There was love triangles, there was cheating, there was people having crushes on people that you didn't know about, people's sexualities were in the closet and they came out. It was fun. It had everything I'm looking for in a mystery, and I definitely recommend In My Heart I Hold Dreams. If you haven't heard of it, please check it out because it's so good and probably one of my favorite books of the year so far. My second 5-star book of August is People Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and y'all, it was fucking cute. And you know how hard I am on romances, but this one just did it for me. It's about these 2 best friends, Poppy and Alex, and every year Poppy and Alex go on a vacation together. They're BFFs, just friends. And we're getting chapters from the past for all their different vacations throughout the years. And then we're getting present chapters where they no longer talk anymore. And put 2 and 2 together. He's a boy, she's a girl. Gonna make it any more obvious, why they're not talking anymore. It's what you think, but still super cute. And they have so much chemistry. I really felt like these are real characters, real people. I like a book when I start talking about them like they're real people and not made up fictional characters. But I was frustrated when I was reading this book because the whole time you're watching them on vacation and you're like, just fuck. What are y'all doing? Y'all are in love with each other. What are you gonna do? This is so stupid. And they were dating other people that sucked. And you're like, what are y'all doing? And I'm screaming at the paper, just kiss her. What are you doing? Why are y'all wasting 10 years? But, okay, sorry, that was a little out of control. But trust me, if you read this book, you're gonna be so frustrated. Why are you guys not together? This is silly, y'all are perfect for each other. But it was super cute. And there's actually one chapter where they go to New Orleans, and that's where I'm from. And the author nailed it. That was, out of all the books I've ever read, this author did a great job of nailing and just describing New Orleans. All the bars, I don't even think she named the bars or the restaurants, but I knew exactly what bar and what restaurant she was referring to. So it was super exciting. I love reading a book and then all of a sudden New Orleans is in it and I have no idea it's coming. So I'm like, oh my God. Ah! So it's super interesting. If you're looking for a romance, I highly recommend this one. It's a friends to lovers trope. If you're not into friends to lovers, you might not like it. But I'm hearing a lot of people on BookTube who don't like the friends to lovers tropes are still liking this book because they're just perfect for each other. And this book just melts your heart and makes you so excited, makes you giddy. I was giddy the whole time and I was rooting for them. And yeah, solid 5-star romance. Definitely gonna be one of my favorite books of the year. All right, my third 5-star book of the month. When's the last time I've had 3 5-star books in 1 month? My third 5-star book was Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. As you know, if you're watching my videos, I'm reading at least 1 Agatha Christie book each month to try to get through all of her books in 2 years because there's so many of them. I'm in the Hercule Poirot series. and I read Death on the Nile. This book, obviously, it's a classic Christie, awesome twist, jaw-dropping, but what makes this book a 5-star for me was the obnoxious characters and the great atmosphere. It's set in the Nile in around the 1930s, and Cairo in Egypt was like the place to go in the 1930s. It was like the equivalent of Paris. Like all the famous celebrities would go there, and you really just like feel this vibe the whole time. So it's about this woman named Lynette Doyle. She's super rich, super hot, super young. She's like famous around the world, and she marries this guy, but she married this guy that she stole from her best friend named Jacqueline. And Lynette and her husband are on a honeymoon in Egypt, and Jacqueline, the best friend, is stalking them, showing up wherever they go, and they all get on a river cruise up the Nile, and once they get on that river cruise, a murder happens. Maybe more than one murder. But it was super good. I will say, I didn't think I had read this book, but when the murder was occurring while I was reading it, I knew exactly what was happening, so there's no way I didn't read this book in the past, because if you've read this book, or if you're going to read this book and you get the revelation, there's no way you can really guess that. But when it was happening, I was like, oh, this is what's happening. So I must have read it when I was younger and I just blocked it out, but I did know what was happening, and I knew the whodunit, while I was reading it. But it was still fantastic. We have so many characters. We have this like bitchy, obnoxious American woman. I feel like all Americans in Agatha Christie book are given like the worst shade. They're always awful characters. We have this mother and son duo. We have this like drunk actress, or she might have been like an author. I don't know, but she was like this drunk. And then we have her daughter. We have Lynette. We have her husband. We have Jacqueline. We have this like doctor. There's so many characters. I would not recommend this book if this is your first Agatha Christie book, because there are so many freaking characters to keep track of. I actually was taking notes and like writing them down, like where they're from and what their story is. But there's a reason why Death on the Nile is one of Agatha Christie's most famous books, is because it was fantastic. Everything about it, the mystery, characters, the atmosphere, 5 out of 5. I'm super excited about the movie with Armie Hammer. I mean, I know we don't really like Armie Hammer anymore because he's apparently like a serial killer and like eats people. I'm just kidding. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, because it's kind of fucked up. But yeah, I'm super excited. Death on the Nile, great book, great Christie. Maybe one of my favorites so far. Definitely one of my favorites. All right, my first 4-star book of the month is Ace of Spades. This book is always, everyone's saying it's Get Out meets Gossip Girl, and 100% that's the exact vibes it is. It's about a girl named Chiamaka and a guy named Devin, and they are the only black students at the school with a bunch of white privileged people that go to school, kind of like vibes like Gossip Girl, where everyone's very wealthy. And they're in their senior year, but starting of senior year, this character called Aces is bullying them, posting their secrets, posting photos, revealing things they don't want to know, starting rumors, and pretty much just bullying them throughout the school year. And we're dealing with like trying to figure out who Aces is, why they're doing this, and the ending is like fucked up. It's very Get Out vibes. I will say I was a little bit let down. The ending is not as crazy as Get Out or anything like that. So I felt like the ending kind of fell flat for me. It was still like, what the fuck? But it wasn't as jaw-dropping. I do think this is gonna be a Netflix movie, or if it's not, I think it'll be something, because this is a great story. Another thing that frustrated me was that it took the characters Chiamaka and Devin so long to realize like, oh, why are we getting targeted? And they're the only black people at this school. And it's like, it took you that long to put it together? Come on, and that was kind of frustrating. I think any rational person would be like, okay, we have 2 black people here and they're the only ones being bullied. Let's put 2 and 2 together. So that was a little frustrating for me to read about, but it was really a fantastic book. We have LGBTQ representation, which we love to see, and I didn't know. But yeah, also I have not read a young adult book in a long time that I haven't DNF'd, and this is probably the first young adult book in like months that I've gotten through and enjoyed that I really liked. So I definitely recommend picking up Ace of Spades. It's worth the hype. All right, the last book I read this month was The Vanishing Half. Gave it 4 out of 5. It's taken me over a year to read, and I can't believe I put it off for so long, because it's worth the hype. There's a reason it won all the awards, why it's one of the best books of the year. It's about these 2 sisters, they're twins, and they're black, but they are very light-skinned, so sometimes they can pass for white. And actually everyone in their community where they grew up, it's in Louisiana, is very light-skinned, so sometimes they pass as white. And these 2 twins run away from home when they're like 16, and they flee to New Orleans. Another book where I had no idea New Orleans was like a major part of the book. And it took me a long time to get through the first half of the book, because I was constantly like Googling all these places, see if they're real and like what they are now, if these buildings still exist. And they are, so the author did a good job at making sure everything was historically correct. But anyway, they flee to New Orleans. One of the sisters has a daughter and moves back home and raises her daughter in the community that she grew up. But one of the sisters moves to California and passes for white and marries a white guy. No one knows that she's black. And we're getting these two different perspectives and kind of like how their lives are completely different. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed reading about the sister who was in California passing as a white person because she was constantly scared that she was gonna be found out that she's black. It's just so interesting and just so like thought-provoking while you're reading it. There's also a very strong transgender representation, which I had no idea about. We get to learn about his transition, especially like in the 1970s or 80s, whenever, I don't really know exactly what year it was, but how it's a lot different from today. I mean, obviously it's still not that great today, but it's even worse back then. But this book, if I was like, making a curriculum for a school, which I think would be a really cool job. If I was making a curriculum, this would definitely be on the English list in high school. Like this should be, this is recommended reading, I think, for like all high school students. I think it's just a fantastic book. It's beautifully written, worth the hype. I think if you haven't read it and you're on BookTube, I know it's probably sitting on your bookshelf. Just pick it up. It's really good. I didn't give it 5 stars because I thought the first half of the book was a little slow, but the second half of the book, I was flying through it, couldn't put it down. But yeah, I definitely recommend this book. So I also DNF'd 2 books this month, and I'm getting better at DNFing. I just have a problem with, getting 100 pages in a book and then being like quitting on it. I don't want to be a quitter, but I'm so happy I did because I got to, better books. But the 2 books that I DNF'd were The Luck of the Titanic. I think I talked about that in my August TBR, but it's about an Asian woman who sneaks onto the Titanic trying to get to America because she wants to join the circus. And I don't know, it wasn't doing it for me. I was bored. I didn't even feel like I was reading about the Titanic. I didn't care about the characters. And I got about 100 pages in and I was just like, I don't want to read this anymore. So put it down. I also read this book called Shipped, which everyone's, hyping up on BookTube, but I just been there, done that. It reminded me of The Hating Game, but put on a cruise ship. So this is about 2 coworkers who hate each other. They're both up for a promotion at their job, and they both get sent on this cruise ship to see who can make the better advertisement for the Galapagos Islands. And I got about 150 pages in, and again, I was like, I'm not feeling the characters. I feel like I've read this book. It was very on honeymooners and very The Hating Game, which I loved, but I felt like all they did, the author just copied that story and just put them on a cruise ship. And I was like, I don't care. I know how this is gonna end. And maybe I didn't, maybe the ending was great, but I just was bored and I DNF'd it. And I'm getting better at DNFing and I'm happy that I can finally just be like, no, I don't wanna read this anymore and just put it down. But I don't know, does anyone else have that problem where they don't wanna finish a book? Because it's really hard for me to just DNF a book when I'm 100 pages in. But I think it's necessary to get the books you actually do like. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will be posting another video soon.